Oh, yeah, you hear me now? Yeah. I don't even know what I pressed. I'm unpressing something. That's good. Still good? Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I discovered what was wrong. Anyway, today we're talking about a mission, and we've got, oh, let me hit record here, by the way. Recording. Yeah, so mission time. Mission's a really big deal in my life, and having a mission it's really the difference between having a meaningful life or a less meaningful life. Now, people who are observant Jews often feel like they don't need a mission because they're already keeping Judaism. And I was introducing before Yehuda Leuchter. This is Yehuda.
Hi there.
Yehuda Leuchter's a colleague of mine. He actually has a multi-mission life. He lives in the Judean hills, in a real outback place. The place itself is a little more known. It's called Bat Ayin, but Bat Ayin has its own outback.
And I live in Bat Ayin Bet.
Bat Ayin Bet,
the Arabs, right?
Yeah, it's like he's right by all these villages, and I don't think there are any fences or anything. No fences.
A lot of rocks.
A lot of rocks. It's very, very beautiful. Extremely beautiful. And he's got the mission of settling the land, and he's got a mission of Torah. And he's also a wonderful musician and played in one of the best reggae bands in Israel, called Acharit Yamim, the end of days. And he was leading and singing, and a really cool band. I was at some of your best concerts and weddings. And
good times.
And we actually gigged together in Tel Aviv when no one came. When I had a class in Tel Aviv, that was probably one of the most expensive classes I've ever taught in this beautiful hall, top reggae band, several kegs of beer and food, and one Persian man who was 35 years old showed up to the class. One Persian man. So the band played, the beer was drunk by my students that I brought down from Jerusalem. And then, but you bet that at the end of that class, I put that Persian man in the back of my van with my students after having gone to his apartment in Tel Aviv to gather all his stuff. And he came to learn for several days in Jerusalem at Aish
Wow.
Torah.
Worth it.
And yeah, it was worth it for that, man. And you also have the mission of well-being to help promote well-being in people.
Mm-hmm.
And Yehuda's been coaching for the Possible Youth for years now. How long now?
A while, yeah.
Long time. A couple years.
Yeah.
5, 6, 10 years.
10.
10 years.
I don't count anymore.
And he also can lead, so he gets up there and can say a few words as well. And please God will be training amongst others
Amen. Yeah.
in leading the Possible You. So anyway, in my life, I've had quite a few missions. I used to be really dangerous as a kid because I'm an extremely influential person. If I love something, I'm not going to leave you alone until you at least try it, and I may still not leave you alone until you love it too. But I'm like crazy like that. We're called sneezers. Sneezers like sneeze what they love all over everybody. And by the way, you should know the Rambam says that sneezers are people that, how do you know you love something? Because you can't stop telling people about it. And you know what that means? That means that if you're not telling people about things, you don't really love those things. And which is pretty interesting. And where does the Rambam bring this from? From the mitzvah of loving God. That if you really love God, you can't stop talking about it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, which is very interesting because we have a lot of circles that never bring them up.
Wow.
You know, there's circles of people that they talk about everything, but yeah, observant people who don't speak about God much.
Wow.
So one of the ways you know you love God is because you're talking about him all the time, which is pretty exciting to do that.
If I speak about my wife, it means like I love my wife.
Yeah.
So even if I speak not like heavy stuff, like it's hard for me and this and that, if I speak about her, it means I think about her. It means I love her.
Right.
She's in my.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
The things you speak about are the things you love. Unless sometimes we're just trying to convince ourselves of it, you know. Sometimes we'll speak about things that we want to. Anyway, so what happened? Why was I dangerous as a kid? Is no matter what I was into, I would try to get others into it as well, no matter what it was. So if I was in an anarchist state, which means like lawlessness, anarchy, so then I would convince everyone of anarchy. And if I was in a love state, like a hippie state, I would convince everyone of free love for everybody. And my parents actually, when I wanted something, and I was little, I would walk into their bedroom and they would be like, laying there kind of going to sleep, whatever. And I would stand in front of their bed and petition them, but I would always convince them. And so they by the time I was 6, 7 years old, they used to say, don't even start. Don't even start. Before I started, they would say, don't start, because I would convince them. Now, everyone got super nervous when I became observant. At 23 years old, when I got to Aish Torah and I became like a soup bowl wearing Jew, everyone got nervous because they knew I'm always trying to get everyone to do everything. But you see, most people, when they become observant, they're pretty embarrassed about it. And then then from then on, they just kind of hide from their own family and they move as far away as possible and just become observant. But I was the opposite. I was moving towards everybody. I couldn't sleep at night until everyone I loved had at least been at least introduced to Torah in some way or another. I think someone's unmuted. So if you're unmuted, mute yourself, please. Hey, Yoeli. So anyway, so I've had this mission for sure, a big, strong mission to have literacy. Jewish literacy has been my goal, that people know what they're talking about when it comes to Judaism. I was raised in a synagogue, which I like to call Cyanide Temple. It was really called Sinai Temple, but I call it cyanide because it almost killed me spiritually. So I grew up in that synagogue, and it was so far from anything true, anything real. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I remember I remember that I brought there's an amazing rock band called Kansas. I suggest
77533.
let me see if I can mute those people.
That's
Shy, you're co-starring with me, so there's a mute everybody on participants. Anyway, I was you know, the albums are very meaningful because they themselves, the band was searching just like I was. And so you know, one of the famous songs, The Wall, I'm woven in a fantasy. I can't believe the things I see. The path that I have chosen now has led me to a wall. And with each passing day, I feel a little more like something dear was lost. It rises now before me, the dark and silent barrier between all I am and all that I was ever meant to be. In harmony, towering, marking off the boundary my spirit would erase. To pass beyond is what I seek. I fear that I may be too weak for those of you who've seen it through to glimpse the other side. The promised land is waiting like a maiden that is soon to be a bride. The moment is a masterpiece, the weight of indecisions in the air, standing there. Anyway, I could just keep going. But so I brought those lyrics to the joker who was calling himself rabbi at Sinai Temple, who subsequently had to be removed for his I guess getting overly involved with the head of the sisterhood of the synagogue. And that's my kosher way of putting it. And he so he got removed. But I asked him, I went like I was a little kid, and I think I was probably, I don't know, maybe 12 years old. I said, Rabbi, what's the meaning of these lyrics? They're drawing me toward some meaning. And the rabbi looks at me and he says, I have no idea what any of that means. And I just took the entire Torah. He didn't realize the entire book of Torah was open to me in that moment, if he only knew some. And he just like closed it. And then I went on this like what seemed like an endless search to find anything meaningful in this world, to make sense of the churning in my heart towards true meaning, true depth, and something real. So anyway, but eventually I found my way to Judaism, and I so got that's a mission, is Jewish literacy, a major mission, that the Jewish people should know what they're talking about. So as I speak right now, there is there's oh no, it was my shoe. My shoe's burning. As I speak, we have there's a major like assault investigation going on that went out in the Jewish reform movement. I'm not going to say the name of who they're investigating, but it's like a bunch of people implicated. And at the same exact time, the biggest Jewish center, I mean, a piece of property worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in the Bel Air community in Los Angeles. I mean, just like this gigantic center. People gave like their gifts for like parts of this building and grounds that were gifts of $250 million, multiple gifts like that. And they just put the place up for sale. And that's the conservative movement. And so in the end, all that's left is just the people holding fast to Torah, holding fast to the Torah. And that's a very, very deep mission of mine. Now it turns out that I had another mission, and that is to bridge people. I'm a bridge. I'm a 10-lane bridge in two directions, to bridge people to themselves, to others, and to God. And you'll notice, since you've met me, that if you think about all our times together, almost every time we're ever together is me bridging people to themselves,
right,
to others, and to Hashem. And so I realized that my mission in an overall statement is a bridge. If I don't do that mission, I get a taste of what life's like for the rest of the world who doesn't know their mission. And it's nasty. Now, of course, if you never have a mission and you just, all you do is work and take care of a family, and you don't have a mission greater than yourself, because when you die, you will not work, and when you die, you will not be taking care of your family. But if you have a mission, it's your legacy. It goes on and on and on and on. It gets even bigger. You know, like when Shlomo Karlebach died, all of a sudden there was a Karlebach shul everywhere. Before he died, there was Moshav Modin in the Modin area of Jerusalem, of Israel, and there was Karlebach shul in New York. That was it. 2 Karlebach minutes. And when he passed away, boom,
right away.
yeah. And that's what the mission's all about in your life, is getting a mission that's bigger than you. That's bigger than you. And you know what's interesting is that clarifies all the people that live a macro mission, because there's macro and micro. Macro is just like living your daily life as a Jew. Macro mission. You're begadol tachai kiyudi. When you live your Jewish mission, that's like your macro mission. If you're Jewish or whatever you're part of, whatever community, culture, that's your macro mission, to be part of that and to conserve it. But your micro mission is totally separate. And Chaim Shulam, you'll have this, you'll get this, that when we die, our service to God dies with us. Meaning whatever service you did throughout your life, every prayer, everything, that's all coming with you. But it's not here anymore. You understand? Like, we all know that because we've all prayed with people who were beautifully determined and in prayer and study, who have left this world and they're not there anymore. Whereas when you have a mission, your legacy explodes upon your death. And it gets way bigger. I'll tell you the truth, in my own seminars, I'm a little jealous. I'm a little jealous of what my mission, meaning all the work I've done over all these years to spread the self-realization, the awakening that is occasioned by the Possible Youth Seminar. I'm jealous of the experience everyone's going to have when I pass away and there's no me to do it anymore.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then please God, it'll explode.
You're like, wow, we were lucky enough.
Yeah, but when it explodes to big, you know, I won't be here to watch that. So all my work won't be.
You might be here. It
Yeah,
might
you
explode
think?
like soon.
Oh, man,
I mean,
please God, I'm doing everything I can to explode it while I'm
you're
alive.
into exploding the thing.
Yeah, I want to explode it while I'm alive.
Good.
I'm definitely into it. That's why Shai Specking's with me.
Oh yeah.
You know, helping me explode it. So anyway,
there's more missions waiting for you. I mean, this is a very big mission.
Yeah.
Possible you, but maybe you have to like
see what the next,
more
missions
coming up.
Yeah, I mean, but I have a very, you know, my style is very shamanistic. You know, I'm not like not going to enter politics. You know, that's me.
I'm saying the same direction. Okay.
I'll tell you, on the one hand, there's people who are like so diverse that I so admire, and I'm just not. I'm very diverse, but I'm not just one of those guys at all. So it's kind of nice to have a niche. Listen, everyone. Listen. There's a way to find. I'll give a little plug for the mission because I'm at this point teaching it in Brooklyn on the week of the first week of March, I'll be running a mission, which will be see, I'm going to be in Muncie running the Possibility for Men and Women, Please God, next week, the 27th. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights in Brooklyn, I'll be doing the mission in Brooklyn. So if you want to be part of that. So here's the thing. Our goal is to discover our life's mission. The reason we don't know what it is a couple of things. One is if someone doesn't make that important, you're never going to realize on your own that you have a life mission. Why? I mean, how would you? Everyone's so busy surviving that discovering your life mission is like, it's like the question, why would you even think about it? So like, where would it even have come up? So that's one question is, where would you have discovered it? It's not really encouraged. Parents are excited about you being normal, and there's nothing normal about living a mission. Another is that if you figured out your mission on Earth, you would probably have people rejecting you. Like you're really poking your head out, and people, you not everyone's going to love it. So you're really putting yourself out there for some thumbs downs, and then lastly is that it will probably, till you get it wired, you're probably going to fall on your face a few times. Meaning it's not necessarily going to go so well when you learn to do your mission. Meaning once you find your mission, you'll probably blow it several times. I know I've as a bridge, my mission as a bridge, I've learned a lot through the failures, but failure is your greatest teacher. I'd like to share a little something about failure, especially that there's a few people here who are mission graduates that I don't think I shared before about failure. And that I'm sure you've heard me talk about failure, but failure is your greatest teacher. It's your greatest teacher. Failure tells you exactly what doesn't work. Now, we all know that there's things that work and things that don't work. Like, for example, growing up surfing, your first year or two, you find out what doesn't work every time you stand on the board. And it's an amazing thing because, first of all, you all think that the hard part is standing on the board or something, or balancing once you're on the board. You gain all your respect for surfers when you first lay on the board to paddle out to the waves, because the board slides out. If you paddle this way, it slides that way. If you paddle that side, it slides that way. Meaning it literally slides and you're in the soup. And until you learn to paddle this way while leaning a little more that way to not keep that side down, and then paddle this arm while leaning that way. I mean, after a while, you would never even think about it, because the human mind will keep correcting itself until that board finally stays under you.
A bike, but like on the water.
Similar, yeah. And then paddling into the waves, timing the waves, getting up on your feet, which people think is a push-up. It's not. You're actually you just drop the board down the wave, and then you jump up to your feet. You pop up to your feet while the board goes down. But then once you're on your feet, you just fall right off, because it's like there's just no way to stay on it. But fall off that side, then you get on again, you fall again and again and again and again and again and again. That's why most people can't learn to surf as adults, even though those surfing schools are really cute that have sprung up on all the beaches in the last few years. They're really cute. But to really learn how to surf, you have to be a little kid. First of all, you have the neuroplasticity for all the learning of this way, that way, this way, that way, until you're finally like balanced. So you need that neuroplasticity in your brain. And the word, by the way, for those who aren't great at English, plasticity means flexibility of your neurons of your brain, neuroplasticity. And you also need to have no responsibilities, because you're going to have to do it every single day for hours, which means you're not doing anything else. Right? Show me an adult who has nothing to do, and I'll show you a man who smokes too much weed.
Right.
So but most adults have too much to do than to spend their day out in the ocean. But the point is it's only the failures in surfing that teach you how to surf. If you're not willing to fall down, you chose the wrong sport. And
It's one of the sports you have to like fail and fail and fail.
Yeah, it's it's the most started and quit sport in the world. The most started and quit sport in the world. The chances of someone starting it and quitting are like 95% that he's going to quit.
Wow.
As an adult, it's like 99%. As a kid, it's like 95% that'll quit. Want some water? When you're ready, I'd like you to share something, whatever you want. But I should really be a much better interviewer and treat you as an interview. Okay. But I want to speak a little more about failure.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm your guest.
Most people taste failure and spit it out, and they run the other way. Most people taste failure and just spit it out and run for their lives to never ever taste it again. Most people, that's just how it works. You taste failure, you run, and it's that means that where they finally do get traction will be where it was so damn easy. I mean, there was so little resistance, such a small growth curve or learning curve that they finally get traction there or wherever it may be. And then they call that success, and then that's their success.
And so they stay like on the small things.
Yeah.
They don't go.
They're not going to go anywhere where the failure is. They touch it sometimes, but then they spit it out. Successful people, they chew on the fat of failure. You got that? Successful people chew on the fat of failure. They love it. Like it said on the desktops in Facebook, the Facebook offices, they had on everyone's desktops on the screens, it said, when they came to their desktop in the morning, it said, fail hard. As opposed to try hard, it was fail hard.
Go all the way.
Go all the way. Yeah. If you're not creating some level of failure, you're not doing anything. If there's no failure, nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah. So you need to have a certain amount of failure happening in your life. And that's partially why I've been much more courageous lately in growing my company. My company is, by the way, do you know the name of my company? It's called Living Inspired.
Living Inspired, yeah.
Possibly use one of the seminars there.
Yeah.
But I've been pushing it harder the last year or two because I haven't really been failing very hard. And so I've been pushing much harder, including building this center in Brooklyn and opening up other seminars. And I'm really doing my best to fail right now. And
are you succeeding?
Yeah, I'm succeeding at failing a little bit, and I'm learning a lot. And
Shy is succeeding. Shy.
Yeah, Shy is the COO. Shy, am I succeeding at failing a bit? So a little bit. Anyway, but that's where the growth is. The growth is where you're putting it out there in such a way that there's failure coming, because then you got something. Now that failure teaches you. It's not saying keep pushing against the failure. It's saying you're gonna have to go that way. Maybe you got to go that way. Maybe you got to get around it.
Something's happening.
Something's happening, and you got more navigation to do. But it's not that way. It's going that retreating.
It's not a tourist who comes and puts on his life vest and knows where he's going. There's a tour guide, and it's like somebody who's like basically like going into the water and doing his thing. Not like tourists like with a life vest.
Right.
Something like that.
The main thing is when you fail, you're not retreating. You don't run away the other way. You're running at it. And then you discover, climb it. I mean, if this is success up here and you're climbing up to it and you keep hitting failure, so you did well till there, just take a right.
Mm.
And then you go up higher, you hit a wall. Well, you did pretty well to that. So it was up, it was right, it was up, and then it was maybe left, and then it was up
Amazing.
until that fails. And then, well, okay, that was up, it was right, it was left, it was, and then I got up around that. And then, but eventually you succeed. And so that's the lesson, is to chew on the fat of failure. Don't just spit it out and run the other way. You know, there's a famous parable that I've told a lot of times, and I use it as a mashal for different things. And that's it's a famous story of a king who is training his horsemen to and soldiers to shoot arrows. You know, they're in the forest training, and they discover arrows in trees that are perfectly in the bullseye, perfectly, like right in the very center of the mata, of the bullseye, and lots of them. And so the king is like, tells his men, who is this
Who's this
archer?
guy? Yeah.
So he sends his men to search the forest. So they search the forest and they find the guy. They bring him to the king. And the king asks him, what's your secret for a perfect shot each time? So he says, I pull back my arrow, I release it into and it shoots across into the tree. And then I take my paintbrush and I paint the target
Right.
around the arrow. And
it's a good one.
And that's all the people who spit out failure, is they spit it, they hit failure, they spit it out, they go over there, they hit it over there, they spit it out, they go over there, and they just keep going and going until they finally find something that sticks. But it's usually not anything they would have wanted, because that original impulse was their original instinct. You know, that was their intuitia. How do you say in Hebrew? Intuitia. Their intuition was sending them in that direction, and that was going to be where they would find their excitement and their happiness and meaning, which leads to happiness. So it's the same thing when it comes to dating, sadly, that a lot of people, I meet people all the time that are in terrible relationships. And, you know, when I get one of them alone, I'm like, how did you even find each other? And she's like, well, he said, I love you. No one ever said that to me before. And I'm just like, you know, talk about painting a target on some bozo, you know? So, or he'll say the same thing about her, you know, she said, I love you.
Wow.
You know? And meaning they were so lonely and so rejected and so hurt for years and years and years and years and years, until finally, like, someone was willing to take this stray cat to their house and give it a little milk.
Wow.
You know, and that's who they married, because of the fear of rejection. So it's very similar to put yourself out there in your life for socially, you know, to play around with putting your heart somewhere that someone can hold it or drop it, but to never put your heart, you know, to never share, is a recipe for loneliness. You know, it's a recipe for a lonely life. Right?
Yeah. Interesting.
So another reason why we don't know what our mission is because we're afraid to even know it. Because if you know your mission, now you got to keep it. And if you're going to keep it, well, now, you know, sorry, just keep it. If you know your mission, now you got to do it. It's late at night here. If you know your mission, now you got to do it. And if you're going to do it, people aren't going to necessarily love it. And it's also going to fail many times. And then you got the fear of being out of control, is because suddenly I have this whole new matana, I have this whole new mission in life. Right. Like, I had things pretty buttoned up between work and home. Like, now you're going to give me this like whole, you know, contribution I'm here to make. Who said anything about personal contributions? You know, why can't I just like be myself, you know, and just pray and go home and have dinner with the family And like, I have to have a mission. And the answer is yes, you do. You know, every person is born with a hook in their mouth, you know, like a fishing hook.
Okay.
Every person's born with a hook in their mouth. And God lets us all swim around the pond. You know, some people like to hang around the boat. That's us in Yerushalayim. You know, we like to be near the fisherman's boat. You know, and it's nice here because, you know, when you're close to the boat, once in a while he throws over a couple of extra bait. You know, just extra bait just to eat. You know, to enjoy. And then there's other people who like to be observant and live far away, like some of these guys probably are in New York over there or some other place, London maybe. And then you got people who like to run the other way. You know, someone once asked me about their uncle was like doing all the wrong stuff. He was really running far away from anything good or righteous, certainly far from Torah. And someone said to me, like, doesn't it upset God? Like, God created us, you know, to you know, just on the macro mission of being Jewish and living Jewish lives. And here's this uncle who's like doing everything you can imagine wrong. Yeah. So they said to me, isn't God upset about this? And I said, every person's born with a hook in their mouth. God's outside of time. Do you think any time's passing right now? You think this is really time? Like right now, as the seconds are going by, you know? But you think there's time, especially for God who's outside of time? Is any time passing? So like while we're watching Uncle Fred act like an idiot, you know, there's, and we're like, wow, you know, all that time he's doing all that stuff. And whoa, it's been already 2 weeks he's behaving this way. And it's been a year, it's been 10 years. There's no time. And he already has a hook in his mouth. God, in the end, he pulls everybody back in, you know, everybody gets, just letting a few more people onto Zoom, everyone gets reeled back in. And God's okay. He's okay.
Pulls everybody back in.
He can hack it. You know, do you think you can surprise God with your behavior? You think when you do something wrong, God's like, oh, I can't believe it. You understand? It's like this, you can't surprise Hashem. You can't surprise God. He like totally knows what he's doing.
He's got 1 billion people out there. He knows it all.
There's nothing you could do that would shock God. And that's why when, you know, the whole thing is just your own reckoning, and it's for you to come close. But you could come close, you have to be able to go far. Not that you should go far, but then the whole reason you've been given the desire to go far is for reward to come close. If God, you know, if God wanted you just to be close, he wouldn't give you a desire to go far. And if God didn't put you here to reward you for your life in this giant matrix, in this huge video game of ours, if God didn't set us up to be rewarded for being here, well, he wouldn't have given you a desire to go the other way. But we always have to remember that the whole point of that desires is just to come close. That's it. It's to be rewarded. Well, what does it mean, come close? You're thinking, I mean, come close, like in your behavior here. That's good, but I don't mean that. What I mean is that when you lived in the spirit world, there's a whole world called the spirit world, right? Olam Neshumas. And in the spirit world, you can't get closer without being in a body. You have to first be in a body, make choices, make good choices against your base desires. You make a choice, and then you've basically earned closeness by doing that. But it only translates into the closeness when you pass away and you're back to the world of souls. Only in the world of souls can you get closer. And no time elapsed anyway down here. In the world of souls, there's no time. And there's no time in God, and all there is God. We're just inside this matrix that seems to have time. And our job is just go towards the light, but you got to have a desire for the dark. And in that struggle is the reward. That's what the reward is.
Struggle is the reward is in the struggle?
Is in the struggle away from dark towards light.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get more reward than others, like some people don't have a big struggle.
Seems like it.
Yeah, well, they have other struggles probably, but they some people don't. Some people have serious struggles. Some people are like having big struggles, and it's crazy because it's such a massive misunderstanding for those. I think all of us, we all for sure know people who are doing stuff they should not be doing, and they know they shouldn't be doing, and they're doing it habitually, and they feel helpless to do it. If it gets bad enough, I'll send them to a clinic in Mexico. There's a rabbi who runs a clinic, 2 rabbis now in Mexico, but one's like a real clinic, and the other one's much more like jungle living. But in the jungles of Mexico, in Cancun, there's all these clinics where someone who feels they're beyond free will. They don't even have free will anymore. They're so wrapped up in an addiction that's killing them, basically. So they will go to one of these clinics.
You mean drugs and stuff, or like
also drugs, addicted to drugs as well.
Like what other?
But
stuff?
I normally send only people who have sexual addictions.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I send, because that's, even though drugs can break up a whole family, that addiction that I mentioned is way more going to break up the whole family.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I send them to clinics in Mexico. There's a bark of a tree in Africa called iboga. You ever heard of that?
Yes, I heard.
So there's a bark from a tree in Africa called iboga, Iboga.
What's a bark?
Bark is it's the wood from a tree.
Bark. Okay.
Bark's just the outer layer.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, but that causes people to wear whatever this open wound is, this unclosed loop in their life from their childhood that's caused this gaping hole in their heart, which we call the God-sized hole. It's a God-sized hole in their heart.
Yeah.
Do you know what fills a God-sized hole? God. Nothing else fills a God-sized hole. So the iboga sends you, you're monitored, you're on full heart rate and blood pressure, there's doctors there, and you go through a full life review and close all the circuits of your childhood while on this medicine, on the iboga. I think the laboratory level of it is called ibogaine. Ibogaine is the bark. The tree is called iboga, and what they synthesize in the labs is called ibogaine. Anyway, but if someone's really on the edge, did you want water, by the way? If someone's really on the edge, so I'll send them to Mexico for that. It's not cheap, but everyone who's done it has come out. They've come out clean. Yeah, not easy. And there's another rabbi over there in the jungle who's taking a lot of New Yorkers who just want to do like deep work.
We miss you in Mexico, Rob.
Hey, Chava, that's a Mexican right there. Do you hear that accent? How are you, Chava? Is your camera on?
Yes.
Hi, Chava. Are you with Aliza?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Aliza. Thank God. Really good. Thank God. Amazing. So anyway, I'm going to check out some questions here. Oh, wait, let me ask you a question or two. So I'm trying to think. You guys have any questions of Yehuda, a man living in the Judean hills? In the Judean hills, in the middle of like a very, very exposed area. First of all, is there anything you'd want to say to the world who wants to believe in all the propaganda of the Arab and Israeli conflict or whatever? You're living on the land in a village, surrounded by Arab villages, and you're in a Jewish village. So is there something you could share with us?
So, hi everyone. Thanks, Reb Yom Tov, for having me.
Yehuda
This
Leuchter.
session.
Yehuda Leuchter.
I realized lately, I was thinking, what's the best way for me to build my home? So there's so many ways of building your home. When you live out in the forest, when you live inside a town, but when you live out on the hills of Judea, everything's open. So I was trying to think, what's the best? How do I connect with the place I live? So Baruch Hashem, I figured it out. There's so many rocks. So I was like, wait, Yaakov Avinu took a rock, a couple rocks, put it under his head, and he went to sleep on it. I was like, okay, yeah, let's sleep on that. And what I did is I started collecting rocks out of my garden, and just like suddenly they became a wall.
Really?
Just put one another, and suddenly out of the rocks laying down there, just waiting for something to happen. You pass through them every day for 10 years. 10 years I'm passing through them. I'm like, okay, I have to build my house. I was living in a caravan. I'm going to build my house. I'm going to collect money for building it. It's like, okay, wow, there's a lot of.
Why don't I just collect rocks?
And now there's no rocks just laying. Like they became like a house. I mean, I'm still building it. So I think it's amazing thing we're so lucky to be here in Israel. Like if we're connective to that thing you said, like in Jerusalem, sometimes you get like something thrown out of the ship. Just doing that, living here and being just really connected to where I am. And one thing I was thinking about today, I would say, אני רוצה להגיד את זה בעברית, תעזור לי באנגלית, זה יותר קל להוציא את היהודי מהגלות, מאשר את הגלות מהיהודי.
He said it's easier to take a Jew out of exile than the exile out of a Jew.
And it's a little bit hurting, but I live that every day. It's like such a painful thing to feel, you know. I think like almost every day when I wake up, I like think about the Holocaust, but not think about things that happened there. I like see views of the Holocaust.
Boy.
Yeah, so it's a little bit tough, but at the same time, I realized that that's what directed me to live where I live, like there on the rocks and building because I have such a strong feeling of like no more gullus,
No more exile.
no more exile. So yeah, so that's one thing I can mention. I don't know what you asked, but that's my answer.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, I guess I'm wondering something much less powerful, but maybe more interesting on a political level is how do you all get along out there? All these villages and
what do you mean?
Do you guys get along?
Of what?
Do you ever interact at all with the Arab villages, or there's no interaction?
Every day.
Oh, really?
Every day. It's amazing. It's like every day, every day. Every time I go out, I mean, I meet Arabs and we have to talk. I found myself like 2 months ago, just knocking on this Arab older guy I knew on his door. I was with my daughter on the way back home. I was like, wait, take a ride. And then I took a ride. I stopped next to this house, Arab house. It was knocked on the door. And I went in. And it's amazing. It was this older guy with his wife. And the amazing thing was that two of his sons, older sons, married sons, were like, it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, sitting there next to him, just like sitting. That was like and I was like, okay. So I was like, I tried to stay calm and just like not like bring all my thing and just like, and it was so amazing to see the kavod
of the sons to the
so
father.
I asked him like, is this like your everyday thing? He's like, yeah, they come here every day. They sit, they drink tea, and go. And then I asked
very Avraham Avinu.
So I was like a little bit jealous.
Were you?
Yeah, I was like on my car running, and for sure they have that also. But
they do go sit with their father.
They sit. So I asked another guy who shared with me that he's like really bad relationships with his father. He told me, I'm like, okay. And every day he goes and sit with his father. This is another guy. So
Can you imagine that in the Hasidic world? You have a bad relationship with your father, but you sip with him tea every day.
So, okay, so I don't want to say the Jews are like, we are much more amazing than all those Arabs. Okay? But at the same time, we react to those Arabs every day. Every day. And it's an amazing because they have this covered.
This honor.
This honor, like to between them. I was fired like a while ago, and then an Arab, they gave the job to an Arab because it was much cheaper for them to have it. And he worked harder. And the day they fired me, so the Arab came to me and he's like, he grabbed me in my hand. He was like, listen, dude, I can't take your job. And no way, I can't do this for you. And I had to stop myself and like look at this guy and try and figure out what he's really saying to me. Because I was fired already and he's in, but he had this covered. And I was like, okay, just look at it like that. That's his covered speaking right now.
That's his honor.
Yeah, he's taking the job.
Yeah.
So my political view is that we have to understand that this is our land. And they're going to like try and circle us. When I looked at, should I continue?
Sure.
I looked at, I saw this like in the Chalot, it's like amazing, like in going down to Agrippas, this wall with the picture of Beit HaMikdash, the temple, not the temple, but like the mount.
The Temple Mount.
The Temple Mount, and like a lot of
like rays of light.
כאילו תמונת על ממערב לכיוון מזרח, from east, from west
to east.
So it's like all the houses and stuff, and then Temple Mount. And then I was like, wow. After it, there's not a lot of stuff happening, like a couple Arabs, and then there's like a desert.
Sure.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, they can say it's Muslim, it's Christian, but we see it's like Jewish. But from the other side, if you look at it from the other side, it's all open for something to happen.
In the hills out there.
Yeah, something can happen there. It's free land.
Right.
If you go a little bit inside, it's already the desert, Judea desert, the Bika. And I was like, wow. I mean, we tell us all the time the story of like, okay, we're like, where are we heading? I'm saying if we look at it from the Mizrach, it's all open and ready for like a huge festival, gathering of people. I've
been wondering what you're getting at.
Okay,
meaning we need to make a huge festival
20
in those hills.
Down in the desert.
Right on the other side of the Mount of Olives.
Let's say Bezat Hashem, Beis HaMikdash is going to be built. My mission, okay? You want to hear my mission?
Yeah, what's your...
Let's say Bezat Hashem, Moshe is going to come tonight. And it's going to be Beis HaMikdash tomorrow morning. We wake up for an amazing, like when we wake up in Jerusalem into snow, and it's a Beis HaMikdash. So people have to come to Beis HaMikdash. They have to go through somewhere to get ready to go up to Beis HaMikdash and make something like just a uniting thing with themselves and God. They can't come from work. So I think if we do like this amazing Machane Shechina there, just right here, but like the other side
of the desert, the other side.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, that's my political view. Not a regular made political view, but
let's check out some of the comments here. The Mayim. I'm just going to look at some of these comments. We got just checking YouTube real quick. People saying they couldn't hear me. Now they can hear me. Shalom, brother. Great singing. Oh, I sang. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. Someone named Jethro Payson said he's going to give me half the money when he makes $1 million. Hey, Leah. Leah, you're going to be on YouTube if you keep a camera on. I hope you're cool with that. It's up to you. And the anyway, nice. So people gave him some strength. Okay, I don't see any questions there. And then we got, check out WhatsApp for questions. WhatsApp has, let's take a look. And where are those chats? There they are. Someone wants to speak to Yehuda. This guy wants to talk to you. Can you take that number?
I should take his number down?
See that number? Yeah, he wants to speak to you.
So let me write it down. What's the number?
Well, I don't want to tell his number
Yeah,
on the
you're
whole,
right.
to the
One
whole
second, let me
world.
see.
I don't mind telling mine, but not his. I'm gonna take a photo of it. Okay. Yeah, click it, it'll catch it. Good. And then okay, no questions. Anyone got a live question? Anyone want to ask something? Anyone want to ask Yehuda something? Anyone want to ask me something?
My guitar.
Okay. If you guys ain't got no questions, so then should we play a little song for them?
Yeah. You have another guitar yet?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do something.
Okay, we'll play it for you guys a little song.
Yeah.
Grab your guitar.
Jam something.
Check out this chair.
Oh, nice. You want to try like in A minor G kind of thing?
All right. So we're gonna jam for you guys a little bit. Get the guitars tuned up. You're in pretty good tune?
Yeah.
But I'll check out what's up with mine because it's been sitting in this cold studio. All right. Let's get this thing out here. Okay, what'd you say? A minor G?
You want to try something like יושב תחת עינה, צופה לירושלים, מתי קברת חזור שכינה, כבר חלפו 2000, וגז העביר כבש, ונמר עם גדי ירבץ ונעלה לירושלים, לבית המקדש ירושלים הבנויה, ירושלים הבנויה. גפנים סמדה נתנו ריח לצורים מוניקים, אבל איך ישבה בדד ירושלים נהדרת, איך ישבה בדד היית תפארת, שים אותי ירושלים הבנויה, Everybody sing with us, everybody sing with us, let's go. ירושלים הבנויה, ירושלים הבנויה.
Take a smile instead. It's our C. Where's the sheet?
I think we left it home.
No.
Yeah,
We just wrote out the music for the beautiful child, so you better go play it.
so you sing it, I'll play the chords, you sing it together.
You can fool around too if you want. Take a smile instead. Take a deeper breath. Let your motor go. Slow down to a crawl as your defenses fall. Feel your soul refuse everything you found, all that you believed. Hold it in your hand and let it go. Nothing left to fear. Open to receive. Setting free the child, beautiful child in you. Do a little dance, sing a simple song, laugh so hard you're crying. Chase a butterfly, climb a mountainside. Once again, you're flying. Each person of your dreams is coming into view. Nobody can take that dream away. Somebody who trusts, somebody who trusts. Somebody who shares, somebody who shares, someone like the child, beautiful child in you. Oh, 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 oh. Everything you thought, all that you believe, hold it in your hand, let it go. Everyone you love want you to achieve. They want to meet the child, beautiful child in you. Beautiful child. horizon of your dreams is coming into view. Nobody can take that dream away. Everyone you love, they want you to achieve. They want to meet the child, beautiful child in you. Wow. Hope you all enjoyed that. Blessings, everybody. All the best. Shai, let's get this out to Torah anytime, right? Hope I did that right this time. Shalom, everybody. Night. Blessings. And that's Yehuda Leuchter. You can find him online. YouTube, right? You're all over YouTube.
Rabbi, there's somebody asking for a question on the chat. I'm not sure if you want to respond.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they didn't ask though? Oh, cool.
He's asking if he can ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what do you got, Rose? Yeah, Rose. Oh my gosh, this lady. I can't believe she exists in this door. She should certainly have come by now. Such a person. So we're waiting about Shabbos. Yeah, you can ask something about Shabbos. Hope you guys are enjoying all this music. Yeah, where's my question about Shabbos? Oh, about the Shabbaton. Will it start Thursday or Friday, and what will the program be like? Oh, yeah. So I'm debating about this Shabbos program. I'm doing a Shabbaton for possibly graduates in the country next week, and anyone who graduated the seminar can come, and if they're married to someone who didn't do the seminar, they can still come as a couple. My wife's coming. That's very special. So I'll have my wife there. And there will be some babysitting for people with newborns. Single people can also come with roommates. Unless they want to pay for their own room. The Shabbos is going to be Friday through Sunday. There'll be programming all along. There'll be including some music. The idea behind the concept behind the experience behind, I don't know what that is, of the Shabbos is to have all the people who've done the self-transformation work to be together for an entire together for like 40 hours. It's going to be I'll be teaching a lot. There will be different sessions. There will probably be some sessions that will be review-like, but any review I'll do will be to specifically get us back into the experiential, so that everyone's in full experience mode. And I've been toying around. I'll share this with Shai as well. Shai, I've been toying around with actually doing the curriculum of one of the other seminars. One of the seminars that I've not yet put out, that are available in webinar form to be purchased at rabbiyomtov.com. So I'm thinking of coming with that webinar and doing the entire live thing on Shabbos. So I have many titles that are already created seminars. So I'm thinking of making that Shabbaton an entire seminar. So I might do desire, or maybe I'll do love. I'm not sure which one, or maybe time. I haven't decided. I'll go over all my outlines and all the titles of the different seminars and make a choice of which one we'll do. So that's another idea. And the last time we did, I just taught a lot of turbocharged power classes and let's meditations and various things like that. It's a great review though, to be with everybody and you just kind of get back into possible that kind of transformation mode, which is fun. There's no crying and all the heavy work of the possibly, because it's Shabbos. It's not appropriate. But yeah, it should be good times, and we'll be in nature, and we're going to be in the forests of upstate New York next week, next Shabbos. This coming Shabbos, actually, I think I'm going to be in the country. Someone's bringing me to the country. Okay. And yeah, there would definitely be some beautiful davening and stuff like that. We should have, I'm hoping we're going to have Pinya Bachazan there. I think we never, Shai, you see Pinya's on there? Yeah, he's on our live feed here. Yeah, there's Pinya. Pinya, sing us.
How you doing?
Baruch Hashem, sing us a little something. Sing us one line from Raz of the Shabbos. I'm hoping Pinya is coming for Shabbos, but maybe give us a little preview. When are you coming to Eretz Yisrael?
I'm flying tomorrow night, Bezras Hashem.
Okay.
And I'll be there for a week. I'll be coming back Tuesday next week.
Okay, sing us one line from Raz of the Shabbos, just one little part. Your favorite part. Your favorite part.
What?
Your favorite part.
Rosa de Shabbos, Shabbos. Die Sache, das will so dir, give me harmony on the guitar. Probably be delayed now. Das will Yesiach das vis parshas misitru acharu Ada Yeshavisu Yesiach das vis parshas misitru acharu Kavada Yeshavisu Adayel Shabbos with Yachdas with Parashas Mesitru Acharu V'chol Diyin Mishabrim Minho V'chol din misabimenu. V'yishtu raz b'yichidu d'nehiri kadishu. V'yishtu raz b'yichidu d'nehiri kadishu. Ishtiuras v'yechidu d'nehir kadishu. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos to all my special friends. We're looking forward to such a special, sweet, lovely, der Heubene, lofty Shabbos. Thank you, Rabbi Yom Tov.
Yeah, that was amazing. Wow. Isn't it amazing what we're doing with technology? It's crazy that we're all located right now in cyberspace. And
Ashreinu that we're zeicher to utilize it in such a good way, and we have to promote other people to use it only in that channel for the good.
Amen. Okay, everybody, I'm checking out. Blessings. Lots of love to everyone.